Hi, Nick Houston here for Gotham Sound and Communications here at the Gotham Expo 2022. I'm here with Glenn from Zaxcom. Glenn, thanks for being here.
I'm really happy to be here, Nick. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Great. Well, as I mentioned to you and I mentioned before, we're live streaming on Facebook and YouTube, so you watching at home, leave your comments or questions in the comments field below, and we'll get them over to Glenn. Glenn, you have some exciting new stuff today. What did you bring with you?
We have the Nova 2, which is a new version of our Nova mixer recorder and wireless system with receivers built in. We also have a new transmitter, which is the ZMT4X, and we have the ZMT4HM. So having said all that, I think we should probably start with the Nova 2.
Great, yeah, so tell me about the Nova 2. It looks a lot like the Nova 1, but it's different inside, so what's new?
Right. Well, what we wanted to do here was take the Nova and put some improvements into it. We felt that so many people were using it not only for sound bag, but also on sound carts now, especially with the Aria mixer. So we decided we would add some more AES inputs and also add greater AES I/O for the internal receivers. So the way this works is if you have the internal receivers mounted, you actually have direct outputs from all 8 channels of the internal receiver. And you also have 8 AES inputs to boot. It used to be 4, but now it's 8. So you get 8 channels of wireless audio, and you get 8 AES inputs. You still have 4 mic line inputs, and you have 2 returns, which are line only. All of those inputs are available to be mixed, monitored, whatever you like, and also it is a 16-track recorder.
So wait, do the math real quick. How many AES? How many total? What's the total inputs we can have on this?
With receivers, it's 8 receiver channels, 8 AES channels,
Yep.
4 mic line,
Okay.
and 2 line only. That's 22 inputs.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, so there's a lot of inputs on it. Now, if you don't use the internal receivers, the 8 AES outputs, which were the direct outputs from the receivers, change over to 8 more AES inputs. So that's where you get 16 AES inputs,
I see.
all with sample rate conversion, all available through 2 DB15 mini connectors.
Got it.
Yeah.
So let me just kind of fast forward here a little bit. So what this means is easily 16 channels of wireless into this, because you can do 8 natively in the recorder, and then I'll just pan over here, and your RX8 has AES outputs on it, which
That's
will do
right.
8 additional channels of wireless.
Exactly. So with the sound bag, as you know, that is very, very small in traditional terms, you get 16 channels of wireless, 16 channel recorder. You get all the great features that the Nova has, because the integration with our wireless and IFB is just without equal in this industry. If you look at just the Nova, or the Nova 2 in this case, you're looking at a 5-pound sound bag, including the bag and including the lithium battery. And with that, you get your 8 channels of receiver, you get your recording, you get remote control of the transmitter gain, which is ultra crucial. I mean, to be able to be on set and hundreds of feet away possibly from the talent and tweak the gain, there's no way to get better audio quality than to have control of the transmitter's mic pre. If you don't control the mic pre, you're missing out.
Yeah.
That's just the way it is. So we give you all of that functionality in something that is like literally one of the smallest mixer recorders, professional mixer recorders, without appendages that hold receivers and other things. It's all just one solid thing, no external cables, no external coaxial cables for the receivers. So the reliability and the user-friendly aspect is truly without equal in our industry. No one likes carrying around a 10 to 20 pound sound bag.
With bad for your back.
Yeah, with Zaxcom, it's a 5-pound bag. I have literally had multiple sound mixers tell me how the Nova and the Zaxcom wireless as a package has changed their lives by allowing them to do more things and do it in a package that will allow them to mix longer than they would hauling around a big heavy sound bag without the capabilities that this has.
Yeah. I just want to do something real quick. I know you've got the RX-8 plugged in. I just want to bring it over so people could see 16 channels of wireless, all based on the MRX slot receivers.
That is correct.
Right there. And so that could fit pretty easily into a small mixing bag.
Now, the nice part is that the RX-8 and the Nova both have our mic plexer built in. Because with the mic plexer, it gives you this 35 megahertz tunable window. If you want to talk about having great range on a wireless, having that range is so determined by external factors. Anyone could say that they have the best wireless range. That is a crazy, ridiculous statement. What does that really mean? Does that mean the best range in a cornfield in Iowa? The best range running 16 additional transmitters? The best range standing next to a cell tower? The best range with walkie-talkies? No, it doesn't mean that at all. What we do is give you what I consider the best consistent range. We have this filter in there that just wipes out the interference that is out of that 35 megahertz window. And we have really, really great IP3 so that you're not out there getting to location and having something wipe you out, where your range goes down to 10 feet. It's great to cover 500 feet in a cornfield, but you get on set and you have all those interferers. Having long range means very little. Everyone at this point is touting great range. Whether it's as good as one or the other, pretty irrelevant. But when you also look at the fact that what we do is we say, we give you great range, we give you the resistance to all the interference, but if all else fails, you have recording transmitters.
Yep.
And recording transmitters that jam through our Zaxnet. So you're not out there jamming transmitters and changing cards. We have the record replay that works through Nova. I mean, really, there's no system out there like the Zaxcom system with Nova and the wireless with the feature set. We pay attention very carefully to every detail of what we do.
Yeah.
And we try to make things that not only give you the basic thing, but really give you features and abilities that are just really without equal. And we're very proud of that.
Good. Well, let's open it up to questions then.
Many people want to know, is the Nova 1 upgradable to the Nova 2?
I'm afraid to say it will not be.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, basically, the hardware in there, it's not retrofittable to the old one. I mean, there's extra connectors, there's extra wiring. It just cannot be. Now, to let people know, the support of Nova is actually accelerating, because what we've done, obviously the starting point for this product is the Nova. And as we develop things and add features, the features will be updated to the older Nova, as well as they will appear in this Nova as well. So there is a direct benefit for existing Nova customers. And if we could add the features of the extra AES inputs or the receiver direct outs, we would, but it is just impossible.
Got it. Okay. All right. Any other questions, Chris?
Yes, I have one asking why the Nova 2 has 16 tracks if there are 22 inputs.
It's very simple. You don't know if someone's using analog, if someone's using digital. So what we try to do is to accommodate everything. I mean, someone might have 4, microphones out there, and they might have all the receivers working as well. So it is not unusual to have far more inputs than the number of tracks you can record. I mean, that, since day one, we've been doing that. Other companies do that. So, we have a bit of a limitation in the number of tracks we can record. We also don't want it to get unwieldy. What we did do is we did ask our customer base, how many tracks do you use on a regular basis? And the number that came back was probably 95% of the customers use 12 tracks or less on a regular basis. And it was unanimous that people came back and said, for the kind of work I do, I would never use more than 16 tracks. So we stuck with the 16 tracks. You know, there is a processing limitation, and with 16 tracks, we're in a very good, safe position, and we want to make sure that we can write the data to the cards as quickly as we need to. So we're at 16 tracks, and I think that, you know, for our Nova customer base is very, very good.
Okay.
You know, I think Nova is absolutely the best solution for a sound bag for all the reasons we've talked about. But when you put it on a sound card, which it is very at home at, because of the Aria mixer, and also we have the Oasis mixer that we've had in the past, you know, it is truly a wonderful system to go from bag to cart. And because of that, you know, we have more customers using Nova on the cart because it just makes a great lightweight cart that again allows you to move from cart to bag without pulling all your wireless, rewiring everything, setting up separate wireless. It's just ridiculously simple.
Yeah.
So because of that, the cart application does need or did need some extra inputs. So these extra inputs and outputs were really not so much added for our bag users, but really more for our cart users, because so many people are, you know, are using it in both applications, which I mean we're just thrilled about.
Great, awesome. Chris, what other questions do we have?
Matt Martin wants to know, are the AES outputs routable or fixed to be ISO outputs of the receivers?
The outputs are not routable, but their source, the receivers, are totally routable. So I guess the correct answer is yes, they're routable.
Okay.
But they are direct outs. So if the question actually is more toward, can I use them for other things? No. You can only use them for the receivers inside the unit if the receivers are plugged in. Again, if the receivers are not plugged in, then they convert from outputs to extra inputs, which are routable anywhere as inputs.
And just for me to kind of project again, you know, that's useful if you're doing a backup. You know, if you're going to run two Novas at once, you want to be able to, if you're going to run two Novas at once,
right?
You know, let's say, just in case, you know, whatever.
Oh yeah.
On a sound card, it always makes sense to have two recorders. You have those direct outs of all your wireless channels going to a backup.
Well, that's exactly right. All you would need is just a connector, pin for pin, that would go from one Nova to the other, and all the receivers will just appear on the receiver inputs of the second Nova.
Yeah.
So really quite easy to work with if you do that.
All right, what other questions do we have?
Farah Shaheen wants to know, any plans of the RX-8 frequency control from the Nova directly?
I would have to answer that as a conditional yes.
Okay.
Because the hardware is there to do it. We've been asked to do it, but that will come closer to when we release the product.
Got it. Okay, so it's not there yet. And the product, by the way, is it 6 to 8 weeks? That's what I'd heard?
6 to 8 weeks is what we believe it is. They are in production right now.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
we're talking like 4th of July party or before, right?
Yeah,
Ish?
pretty
Okay.
much. Pretty
Great.
much.
All right, Chris, what else?
A few people have asked to get some better shots of the inputs.
Got it. All right, so I will show the inputs on the side. I'm not going to show the back because this is not a production model. There we go. So those are your analog inputs.
Yes.
And then we'll flip around to the world. And those would be more analog I/O, line in and out, time code. And then and you see the AES DB15. There'll be another one on the back of the production models.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah, we're still waiting for our metal cases to come in.
Yeah.
So without the correct case, I couldn't have that there.
Yep, makes sense. What else, Chris?
Are there any plans for a Dante module?
No.
No,
there won't be Dante here. There's enough Dante external boxes that are available for reasonable prices. The thing about Dante, it is a very power-hungry thing. And, you know, frankly, with the receivers in here, there's a lot of stuff already in here. There just isn't the physical room for it. And I don't want the box to generate that much extra heat. And Dante in a sound bag, which this is, sound bags, of course, was the primary design consideration, was not a really good, it's not a really good candidate for that.
Yeah.
And not to mention, you can't even get the Dante chips now.
Yeah.
I mean, the chip shortage is a problem. So if we built it with Dante, we probably couldn't even put it out.
Yeah. And there's that sweet sound effects box that people have been using for their Divas.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
And the nice part about that is because it's a separate box, again, power, weight, and that box has value unto itself.
Right.
So I don't see Dante being a great thing here. Not saying Dante isn't a great thing,
Yeah.
but if you want to use Dante with this, you can get the Sonifex box or someone else's box, plug it in, and go.
Cool. Great. What else, Chris?
Matt Martin wants to know, when will the Nova Touch be released?
Nova Touch shall be out shortly. I'm not going to give a date. It is almost ready.
Almost ready. Okay. Coming soon. Stay tuned. Next question, Chris. This is fun. I love all these questions.
Price point.
I think it's 64, I want to say 45 or 95. So somewhere right in
the
there.
The information I have is $64.95.
Okay, $64.95.
Great.
Yeah, I mean, basically, the price of everything has gone crazy. And, I think what we've done here is we've also created more value with all the extra I/O. Mm-hmm. So it's not just here, pay more for the same product. You're getting an enhanced product. Oh, another thing that I think people might be interested in the Nova, in the original Nova, when you used it with the walkie-talkie interface, we had an issue where if you shut the power off of the Nova and you left your transmitter on, the transmitter would go into transmit mode. Okay, so you had to shut them both off at the same time. We took care of that with this hardware, so you could just shut off the power on Nova 2 and it won't key the walkie transmitter.
Yeah. Great. Okay.
Yeah, that,
cool.
that was something it was a hardware problem, so we put in a hardware fix.
So it's not just the same board with something slapped on. It really is a full upgrade. It's a redesign.
Oh, it's a complete different board. I mean, the reason we had to redesign is probably the same reason a lot of companies redesigned. Zaxcom was a big user of AKM, the semiconductor company that makes analog to digital and digital analog converters, amongst other things. Mm-hmm. And when they went away, luckily we had enough parts in our inventory to keep manufacturing our products. But we're now out of those parts, so we have a lot of new chips in here, excellent A to D and D to A converters, made sure everything sounds the same or better. Because I think the preamp in here is literally like the best or one of the best of any bag mixer recorder. I mean, it's super quiet, great dynamic range, never clip. I mean, it's all those things. So we made sure to put in equivalent or better components where the components are no longer available. So because of that, we couldn't even make the old board if we wanted to.
Yeah.
So we redesigned it and put in these things, and I think everyone's going to really be happy with the Nova 2. And the weight hasn't changed, and the power consumption hasn't changed. In fact, it may draw a bit less.
Okay, all right. So definitely an upgrade and a redesign. All right, what else, Chris? What do you got?
Matthew Freed asks, what about having an add-on rotary bank to extend the physical knobs?
Like you used to have with the FP8 to have more knobs.
No, our customer base is very, very happy with the banking system where we have multiple banks. We effectively take the 5 encoders and make it work like 20 encoders. I mean, the only thing that I think we're probably going to do is allow the menu encoder to act as another fader that'll up it to 6.
Oh.
Yeah, that's a software change that we've been looking at for a while, so that should be a little bit helpful there. But the encoders are ultra smooth, and they just feel great. And I think, while banking and extra faders are not identical, I think the banking has been more than sufficient for our customer base. We're not into making the box bigger, heavier, and frankly, more complicated. And just putting external boxes is really not our thing. The encoder system with the faders and the ring LEDs for them, I think there's a lot of people that have come to prefer it to traditional pots. Besides, with this, if you use external faders, you can get the feedback, as you might see.
I see it.
Pretty cool.
Cool. All right, Chris, what else?
Are the dimensions of the Nova 2 the same as the Nova 1?
Exactly.
Exactly. Next question.
Does Nova 2 have increased DSP versus Nova 1? Does Nova 2 fix MP3 support?
It does not have increased DSP, and it itself does not support MP3.
Got it.
And I'm not ruling out at some point, especially with the fact that we've gone through and rewritten a lot of software, that MP3 will not be supported. So what I'm saying is, the answer is, I'm not saying absolutely no for the future, but I'm not saying yes either.
Got it.
When we have it working, because we did have it at one point, but we found that it did interfere with other recording functions, we had to pull it out, which we did not like doing, but we obviously need a machine that is 100%. So the answer to the question is, it's possible going forward,
Yeah.
but for right now, it is not there.
Yeah. Got it. Perfect. Chris, what else?
Is there anything Glenn would have done differently if the chip shortage hadn't happened?
There probably wouldn't be a Nova 2.
Got it.
I would have probably have not redesigned it, because the redesign was a big deal.
Yeah.
It's software, it's hardware. I'm not saying that we wouldn't have come up with a Nova 2 eventually, but the Nova only came out about a little over 2 years ago, maybe 2.5 years ago.
Yeah.
So, probably the redesign would have been scheduled for 3 to 4 years.
Right.
So we moved the redesign up, and of course, if we're going to redesign, then we're going to look at features to put in that would make it a better product, and that's what we did.
Yeah. Got it. What else, Chris?
Is Diva 24 getting a redesign too?
No, Diva 24. Well, Diva 24 in its current form is not getting a redesign, but the only thing I can say is we're always working on something. So I really can't speak to, which way we might go with that. But Zaxcom isn't going anywhere, and we love sound cards.
Yeah.
So, I'll just have to leave it there.
Okay.
That's for a future video.
Fair. All right. Next question, Chris.
Is the position of the Zaxnet antenna the same?
The position of the Zaxnet antenna on the Nova 2 is the same
Same.
as the Nova 1.
Yeah, all the connectors are in the same place.
Yeah.
And then the additional connectors on the bottom.
Yeah. Got it. Next question, please, Chris.
Will there still be support and repair for the Nova 1?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, the service for the Nova 1 will continue, I'm going to think, for at least 10 years. We have all the parts. Just because we don't have parts to make production units, we have spare boards. So, no one should worry that the original Nova will not be serviced for many, many years to come.
Right. So now we're going to switch gears from the Nova 2. That was great. What is that in your hand?
Well, this is a ZMT4X. What we did is we basically took all the great stuff in the ZMT4 and moved those circuits over to the ZMT4X. So what we have here is a next generation of unit, and it includes stereo transmission from 2 microphones. Those microphones are now powered with 5-volt power. There's no 48 volts in here, okay, because it's only a microdot connector, so we can't put a balanced microphone on it. So the Phantom, is basically the ZMT4 and the TRX 743. But we have the new preamp in here from the ZMT4, which is quieter than the old preamps. And we also really went to extreme measures to get the power consumption down as much as possible. So what we have is a 16-hour runtime. And that 16-hour runtime is not with lithium AA batteries, it's with the Motorola battery that Motorola uses in their walkies. So it's basically a $25 battery, and you can recharge it like 1,000 times easily. So what you end up with is a real savings of money on set, because the battery basically costs you nothing, pennies, every time you use it. But you now have this 16-hour runtime. And that's not 16 hours at 2 milliwatts. That's 16 hours at full output power of 50 milliwatts. And if you were to put it to sleep remotely, as you can do from the Nova, that's 16 hours. I mean, that goes crazy high. In other words, you can put it into sleep mode, and it'll stay in that mode for 48 hours. So that's how little power it draws in sleep mode. So for reality shows where you're wanting to put something on talent in the morning and never change batteries, that's what you have here. Also keep in mind this unit is a rubberized case, which has a fiber-filled exoskeleton, and the rubber is under pressure. So it's really good as far as wet environments. It really keeps the water out. So what you have here is just basically an enhancement of the ZMT3X, which would run about 11 to 12 hours. Now we're up to 16 hours. So, as far as the size of it, this is actually about the same size as other companies' micro small transmitters. So the size of this, if you can compare it to the ZMT4X, it's really not much bigger than our smallest transmitter. A little thicker, okay? But still a really good size considering the battery life that you get.
And the standard Zaxnet control, recording, time code, all that jazz.
Every feature is in here. So we didn't leave anything on the table.
And it's got never clip, and it's got 2 inputs. So it's never clip on one, or if you use 2, you've got stereo recording.
Yeah, but it's never clip on both inputs.
At the same time?
At the same time.
I feel like that's new. Is that new, or
that's
am I wrong?
New for this product.
Oh.
Yeah, this is great for like car rigs where you can rig a car up with 2 sets of microphones. So if you look at the cost of the transmitter, which is pretty much in line with our other transmitters, it takes the place of 2 transmitters for those car rigs where you have 2 people in there. And of course, the audio quality with Never Clip is just extraordinary, and the range of it is extraordinary. So, I mean, really, it's more of our, industrial transmitter because of the fact it's got the waterproofing and what have you. So, people still love the TRX LA 3, when you want to use AA batteries, but certainly this has a lot going for it.
Yeah.
And I think people will really, really like it.
Cool. And just to kind of flash down, you also have the ZMT4 HM.
Yes, we do.
Right? And that's a similar upgrade, better battery life,
et
cetera, et cetera.
That is correct. Now, people have said online, why wouldn't I plug this into a boom? And the reason you wouldn't plug it into a boom, you could, but it has no external antenna. The body of the unit in combination with the microphone forms the antenna. And the one thing I can tell you is I'd rather see people use transmitters with antennas, because the only time you should use a transmitter without an antenna is if you need 10 feet of range, especially today with all the interference we have out there. I recommend this when it's on camera, and that's the look you need.
As a stick mic.
But if you're going to use something on a boom pole, it should definitely have an antenna. And frankly, if you're using something that's on talent, it should have an antenna as well. Never use transmitters without an antenna unless you have to.
Yeah, got it. Okay. So I'm going to open it up to questions, but the obvious question is, pricing and availability. I think it's like $100 more. Am I right?
Yeah, it is about $100 more.
Okay. Yeah, so the pricing will be on our website.
Yeah.
And availability is similar.
Availability
6 to 8
of this is, I believe, now.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying you can order it and get it shipped Monday, but like 2 weeks or something like that.
I'm going to Pompton Plains now. Forget it.
Well, there you have it.
All right. Chris, what questions do we have about the ZMT4X?
Shelby Watson asks, how do the preamps compare to the TRX LA3?
The noise floor has been reduced by about 3 dB. There's not a huge difference. The big difference is that both of the inputs have never clip if you're in stereo mode, where in the older version of this, you didn't have that. You only had never clip in the single mono mode.
Got it. Okay. What other questions do you have, Chris?
Will there ever be a quad-channel QRX that can receive 4 transmitters?
Now, you already have the MRX, that's 4 channels, with
Right.
the RX4. So
Yeah.
this is essentially a QRX 400. It's just
Right.
based on slot. Will there ever be a separate box that does all that in one unit?
Well, I think effectively this is one unit.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, when you look at it, you know, size-wise, capability-wise, this is really it.
Yeah.
You know, so, you know, with this product, I don't see doing a QRX, you know, 400, if you want to call it that. I don't know.
Yeah.
But then again, I'm not going to limit myself to saying we would never do it. You know, I mean, again, we are always working on something.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's the thing. People want us to make all kinds of products. You know, they want us to make a time code slate. They want us to make, you know, little time code boxes. We do what we do best. We do what we have time to do. You know, I mean, if I was to concentrate on other things, maybe we wouldn't have the time to do this, you know. So, you know, I like to say, you know, we need to build Zaxcom things, not Denicky things.
Yeah.
Or not tentacle things. You know, let us do what we do. And, you know, there's other companies that make great products. And all we have to do is what is our specialty. And if we see something that needs to be done that was never done before, you can be damn well, you know, you can damn well know that we're going to do it.
So the Zaxcom electric sound card is coming soon then?
I think it's the flying boom pole.
Great. Perfect. Chris, what other questions do we have about ZMT4?
We are caught up.
Fantastic. All right. Glenn, this has been a fantastic deep dive. I never thought we'd get this much interaction. So I'm going to wrap it up now. Thank you so much for being here with us.
Well, I want to thank you and everyone from Gotham for putting on this great affair. And the barbecue smells wonderful. I know people
I'm
at
so
home
hungry.
can't appreciate that, but maybe next time you'll find a way to communicate that through the web.
Yeah. All right, well, listen, we want to thank everybody for all their interactions. Thank you for watching. And we're going to be coming back at you with more from the Gotham Expo 2022. As always, you can watch this video and more at gothamsound.tv. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter for all the latest sound news. And, you know, contact us with any of your questions. The phone number's on the website. Email us at info@gothamsound.com. Thank you very much for watching. Bye-bye.
But ask me why I'm wearing this jacket.
Why are you wearing your jacket?
Because it's a Gotham event. I've got to look good.
All right. It looks good. It looks good. All right. Thanks, guys.